we'll go live every now and then. We're going to try to do this. Last year, or maybe a couple years ago, we tried the whole live after every football game, and we did it a few times, and we just kept losing. And I was like, ah. So, I think we're going to try it again this year. I know that we do have some new toys available, and tonight's show was not advertised, partly because we're not positive that we have it all working correctly.
Shocker.
So tonight, Pilo, before we get into the whole deal, just for the people that are on right now, maybe explain the new way that they can actually use their mouths and call in.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw up a little ticker on the screen. There's a website. I'm working on getting a QR code that you'll be able to scan. Like if you're watching on YouTube, you can just kind of hold your phone up and scan it. Working on that. But right now, you can visit callme.rode.com and then enter that code, and that will actually call directly into our board. I'll get like a ring. I'm not really sure if multiple people call what it's going to look like as far as like a busy signal, or I have no idea. I don't know. We're kind of building the plane as we fly it here. So we'll throw that up multiple times. I'll have it in the chat as well. And so if you want to join the show, we think this is how you'll do it.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and hit it. Let's hurry up and get to the show.
Had to find it.
I was stretching it out.
I could tell. Here we go.
Welcome to the Top Talk. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of To the Top Talk, brought to you by Yingling Flight. To the Top Talk is the original and longest-running Southern Miss podcast in the market. We're recording this episode on, Pilo?
August the 16th.
From beautiful Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Here as always, with your break from the High Resource 4 propaganda to talk a little Southern Miss athletics. I'm your host, Jason Bailey. Joining me now, that guy right there, the one and only Patrick Lowry.
Hey.
Thought you would have given yourself some applause there.
I'm only doing a few things at a time.
Yeah, no doubt. We do have, there it is. We do have a good show coming up for you. People have been asking, you got to get some football stuff, right? We've been doing a lot of baseball interviews, and we did that Castleman's interview, which I thought was it was one of my favorites. They played along, and it was good stuff, and timely as well with Ashley, going into the M Club Hall of Fame. But they're right, Pilo. We do need to do some football. But tonight's episode, I want to remind everybody that is brought to you by Yingling Flight. Yingling Flight is a premium light beer brewed by DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, the oldest brewery in America. 95 calories, only 2.6 grams of carbs, 4.2% ABV per 12-ounce serving, crisp, clean, refreshing taste. Now available in 12-ounce slim cans and screw top 16-ounce pints. Pick yourself up some Yingling Flight today. And while we're at it, go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Comment and review if you can. That only helps us out. But we will be doing a lot more of these lives, and hopefully they'll be cool. It's going to be neat either way you look at it, but hopefully they'll be even cooler if you can call in if that thing works. So go ahead and right now subscribe to the YouTube channel. But what happened since the last time we recorded? Well, we hadn't done this yet, but hey, we won Best of the PineBelt podcast.
Dude, I mean,
I didn't ever think it was going to happen.
Yeah. Shocked.
Yeah, you called me and told me about it. I was like, what? You're like, yeah. So I always thought the last 2 or 3 years, they've ranked them when it comes out, and we've come in second place.
Right.
To a religious podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole thing was like, I don't, think that's fair. We have a very niche podcast that we do of Southern Miss athletics. A lot of people follow Southern Miss athletics. Probably not as much as, Christianity. So I didn't think that was quite fair. But this year we got over, right? I don't know.
Yeah, here we are. No doubt.
But there we go. So yeah, we won Best of the Pine Belt. Just thanks for all that voted for us, and we really didn't even push it this year, which was even better, I think. Hey, we weren't there. I would have liked to have gotten up in front of everybody and just
Gave a
probably
speech.
fainted in front of a full crowd of people. But so we won that. That was cool. It's been really hot outside, like super hot. Had a baseball practice today, and I threw like 40 pitches of BP, and I was like, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how the football team's doing it, but our guest tonight will probably be able to tell us more about how they're just not dying out there at the Rock and on the turf whenever they're in there scrimmaging too. But football is getting closer and closer. Pilo, you and I got a little golf in. If you want to give a premature shout out to the back nine, how fun was that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
So fun.
go check them out. They're awesome. They're in West Hattiesburg, kind of out over by Optimist Park.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, air conditioned golf. It should be a massive thing right now. If you like golf, don't like the heat, and I have done a little outdoor golf, and it's pretty miserable.
Very, very. But so we do have a guest on tonight that's going to be able to fill us in. There's the dogs. That's gonna happen.
Hey.
We have a house full of people, and we have two dogs. So that's how it's gonna be. But our guest tonight, second time on the show for this guy, I think, maybe the third. He's a current student at USM, and he's back on campus now. He's also working with Sports Illustrated, covering Southern Miss sports. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Charlie Lanehart.
There he
How's
is.
it going, guys? Thank y'all for having me back on.
What's happening, man? No, thank you for being here. It's we're going to lean on you a lot for this. We have a lot going on, and not that you don't have a lot going on, but I know you've been closer to the football situation than we have. We want them to do good. We've been going to games for years and years and years and years and years. A lot of people are kind of like at the end of like, man, when the hell are we going to be good again? Type of mindset, I think. So keep that in mind all night long when you're answering all these questions. We're just going to run through it and just see what your thoughts are, right? But first of all, back on campus, how was your summer, and how does it feel to be back in Hattiesburg?
It was great. So, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I haven't had a lot of opportunities to come back to Hattiesburg, especially throughout the summer because it's a little drive away. But one of the main things I've been doing this summer, like you talked about, Jason, is I've really gotten into Southern Miss Golden Eagles on Sports Illustrated. Been writing a lot of articles and getting into social media, getting on the insights of all the football stuff, writing player profiles for baseball, and really just getting more in depth on what's really going on behind the scenes.
Very good. Well, you'll fit right in tonight. But yeah, I mean, we're getting ready for another football season. When you look at this team heading into 2026, what are your thoughts just overall, and maybe what's the biggest storyline that fans need to understand about this group?
Well, first of all, my thoughts are that there's not really an expectation around this team. Blake Anderson said this is one of, if not the biggest roster turnovers in the entire country. So there's a lot of stuff that still has to be answered. It's being answered a little bit through fall camp and especially through the first scrimmage this past Saturday. But one of the biggest things that's been intriguing to me has really been the quarterback battle. Really been between three quarterbacks: Ethan Hampton, the transfer from Illinois, quarterback Landry Liddy, and quarterback John White. Obviously, it seems like Ethan Hampton's kind of taken the helm of that competition, really create some separation. I know he got hurt this past Saturday, hurt his throwing hand, but it seems like it's just a minor contusion and he should be back pretty soon. But really, the quarterback competition's really been the one thing that a lot of fans have kept their eye on, along with the offensive line. I know we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but we got some guys back in the recent NCAA eligibility ruling. So it's really interesting to see how those guys will adapt physically and for football conditioning.
Fantastic. And so talking about, I mean, it all starts with the quarterback, right? I mean, you got to have one of those. I think gone are the days where, the defense can kind of win it for you. I think the defense can definitely keep us in it. But I mean, are those days kind of over? And just, I guess, talk a little bit about just how important that that quarterback position is.
I mean, yeah, it's everything. It's the captain of the football field, whether, it might not be your best player or not, is the guy who rallies everybody behind him. We kind of saw that a little bit with Braylon Braxton last year, especially early throughout the season. But yeah, I mean, whenever you look at each of these quarterbacks, I think they each bring something different to the room. Like with Ethan Hampton, a lot of guys rally around him due to his leadership and his experience. A little bit the same with Landry Liddy. He has a lot of experience in college football. And John White, big quarterback coming out of Mississippi, he has all the potential in the world to do it. So I think, especially with this room specifically, it's been really exciting to see how each of them separate themselves from the entire competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not playing favorites at all. I don't care. I just want the guy to be the guy, right? And get out there and show everybody, because it's always going to start and end with the quarterback. But how does this team, compared to last year's team, the team that went 7-6, and you could say that we lost all those, what is it, 4 or 5 losses at the end of the season? Was it 4 in a row, 5 in a row? Something like that. Do you guys remember a bunch of losses?
They were 7-2. Yeah, it was 4 games in a row they lost.
Okay. And so you could say, like, man, we're right there. We're really close to 9. Or you remember we almost lost a couple games. I think it was at Georgia Southern.
On the road.
Yeah. So could have lost that one.
Arkansas State too.
Yeah. We were this close to winning 9, but we might have been this close to winning 5. Right. So compare this team to last year's team, the team that went to the New Orleans Bowl, and what are maybe some similarities and some differences there?
Well, I think the one similarity that, with all of the unknown with this roster, is Blake Anderson. He's obviously coming back year 1 as a head coach. That part of it, the game plan, all of that should stay the same. Obviously, the players are going to change in this modern day college football, where you have players coming and going every single year. But there's a lot of different things. Obviously, Southern Miss had to go get a lot of big transfers. And whenever you look up and down the roster, it's not like they only got Power 4 guys who saw less playing time, or they only brought in JUCO guys. They brought in a mixture of both. And I think that it really just depends upon what position it is. But I know for quarterback, bringing in an extra guy like Ethan Hampton from Illinois, bringing in a wide receiver like Mario Williams, a guy that also is at Illinois, those are just big additions.
Yeah. Good. Pilo, you good back there?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm tweaking settings here. I'm having
no. You're good. We'll just continue our conversation here.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep working on that. But so you talked about some of that turnover, just an enormous amount. I think it's the most in the country, right? As far as new players come in. So, in your opinion, is this more of a rebuild? Is this a reload, and you look to expand upon those 7 wins that we had last year, or is it just something completely different that we just have to get used to? There's no rebuild anymore. There's no reload anymore. It's like you got a clean slate every year, and really kind of, I have no idea how anybody Vegas would handicap this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember talking to my dad about this, but whenever they hired Charles Huff to be the head coach, I think it goes without saying that we all expected that he wasn't going to be here for 10 years. He was the guy that was going to get the rebuild going again, and that the next hire they made was going to be the one that would solidify the winning ways that he brought back to campus. And I think that with Blake Anderson and his staff, obviously with modern day college football, you don't know what's going to happen next year, the year after. But with sustainability, I think him keeping players and bringing back guys like, I know I talked about it earlier, but Maui, Noonery, Lewis, even though they got the NCAA eligibility ruling, you still got to go get those guys, and he got them. And I think it's going to be one of those things where year after year, it's going to be tough to keep your top guys because Power 4 schools are always calling to come get your best players. But I think by bringing in a guy like Blake Anderson, who has proven that, one, he loves the university, but also he's a guy who has a winning pedigree, that he's going to be able to retain a lot of his players.
Yeah, 15 years too late, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How different would our lives have been, Pilo, over the last
Oh my
decade and a
gosh.
half? If we'd have made that stupid ass. God, so
Horrible.
depressing. But we're not going down that
bad.
road. So Charlie, you've been covering this team and obviously while being a student here at Southern Miss. So even though you just got back to campus and everything's just now rolling again, what's the mood around campus? I mean, what's the excitement level at heading into this football season?
I think it's the exact same as every other fan for Southern Miss. No one knows what to expect, but I think that's a good thing. I think that it has a little edge on the team on no one knows what to expect and you have a clean slate going into it. I don't think fans, especially on campus, necessarily have the highest expectation because, yes, it is year one, and yes, you have one of the largest roster turnover in the entire country. But you go down the schedule and you see some games that you could maybe take away, like UConn's a big one at home, week 3, and then you go right back to Tulane where you got to face Will Hall. Those are big games, and if you can take a couple of those down the road, then I think you start to build back that fan base, especially on campus, that they had early last season.
Is it better to not have any expectations?
I think so, just because you have a chip on your shoulder and no one really knows what to expect. And, I mean, I'll tell you this much, whenever going to practices and scrimmages and all of that kind of stuff, it's not like 10 or 20 years ago whenever you could go out there and be like, yeah, that's the freshman that we recruited. No, you have to pull out a piece of paper. You have to go on your phone and look at the roster because it's a completely different team. And I think a lot of people in the country have no idea what to expect from this team, and I think Blake Anderson's taken that as a plus.
Charlie Lanehart from Southern Miss, working for Sports Illustrated on the side, joining us tonight here on the live stream. Pilo, have you got some things worked out on that side? Is it possible for someone to
let's
call
hope
in?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, everything seems good, Charlie. I don't know how my audio sounds to you. Hopefully, it's a little better than it was earlier in the show. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be going good. We can jump over to this next question. We have talked a little bit about Charles Huff, but obviously leaving for Memphis after turning Southern Miss around, at least the first half of the season. How much does losing Huff affect this program beyond just losing the head coach?
I don't think Charlie heard your question. That's what I'm gonna go with there.
I can't hear Pilo.
Okay. No. We'll work on that. I'll try to say what he just said. So basically, he was asking about Huff from last season. Like, how much does it hurt? There was a Huff effect there for a while. There was a lot of buzz around the hire. I think a lot of people bought in and just kind of had the rug swept out from under their feet. Even though we knew we weren't going to be here for a decade, we get that. But just not even a full year. So I guess all of that. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Pilo, but I think that's kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Like, does that affect any of the kids that are still here? Like, oh, like Huff wouldn't do it that way. What's Anderson doing? Or is there any of that going on?
I think it'd be a lot different had we hired a coach, assistant coach, head coach, whatever it may be, outside of the program. Mm-hmm. I think keeping Anderson and making him the permanent head coach, it brings a lot of those players who were on the roster last year. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I know a lot of players on the team that came back that said, Blake Anderson's the coach that I want to play for. And if he is hired as the head coach, I will be back next year. And so hearing that, it really puts into perspective how much buy-in he has from his players. Obviously, like we talked about earlier and we've talked about in the past, players are going to come and go. That's just naturally where we are at in college football, college athletics. But I think overall, the guys that, he was able to keep, he did solely because of the reputation he built from last year.
Well said. We do have a comment that came in, so let me read this to you real quick. So we're going to throw this up, and Tony says, what would it take to get a pre-Fedora fan base? Not
Tom.
the Grippers.
What's up, Tom?
What did I say?
Tony.
Not did I? Not
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna call him
grippers,
Tony
the
next time I see him.
loyalists. So I don't really. What does that question mean? What would it take to get a pre-Fedora fan base? Not the
Yeah, so
not the
he's
gripers.
saying, I think like, what would it take for the fan base to kind of look like it did? I think like in the
Oh,
Bauer era. I'm assuming.
okay. Well, I'll take lead on this one, Charlie. I think that you're gonna have to have. Boy, he was a one-man hype machine. I've never seen buy-in like that before. Maybe in basketball with like Tyndall, maybe
Yeah,
on that sort of level. And baseball just kind of does its own thing. Baseball just organically it happened. We're awesome for 25 straight years. So that's how it happened with baseball. With football, signing a guy like DeAndre Brown, right? There's so many things that happened like right away, and then we averaged what 43 points a game, even when we
well,
were
I
losing
think
some
he's
of them.
talking about pre-Fedora though. He's talking about the Bauer era.
Oh,
So how do we
okay.
get back to where our fan base was at that? I mean, unfortunately, Tom, I mean, from my opinion, I hope you can hear me, is I don't know if that kind of college football exists anymore.
Yeah, that's over with.
I mean, unfortunately, with what 89%, 80 something percent of I hate to use the term, but I guess group of five or whatever we call ourselves these days, non-power schools. When our first team and second team All-Americans at 85% once they're leaving for Power Four schools, it's kind of hard to have success. And ultimately, and I talked a lot about this recently, like it hurts the fan base more than anything. It's like, how do we get connected to the fan, like to the players, if they're here for a season, a couple of semesters?
Well, that's a very good point. I don't
Yeah.
think we do a very good job on the outside of that either, with limited tailgate and golf carts and all that. But I don't really want to get into it. $12 beers, yay! Charlie, can you hear Pilo now?
Pillow speak.
Yeah. Charlie, can you hear me?
I can
We are.
Okay,
That's really weird.
so
weird.
keep working on that.
I feel like Tom, let me know, reply on if you're still watching, and see if you can, if anybody that's listening right now, if you can hear me, just let us know.
Yeah, that'd have been about 2 minutes of dead air just a minute ago if nobody can hear what you're saying. But Charlie, Charlie, you heard the question though that Tom, like as far as that
Yeah.
pre-Fedora, like when Bauer was here, when kind of like the whole, he was the face of the university, and people, everybody, you could take a trip to, I don't know, like Minneapolis or something. Somebody saw a Southern Miss shirt and they'd be like, "Ooh, good football program." Like, how do we get back to that sort of notoriety, that sort of buy-in from the fan base in this day and age?
I mean, I think it starts with
Oh,
one thing and one thing only, and that's winning football games. I think that's the most important thing. You have to win football game sustainability, and that's getting to a bowl game consecutive years in a row. We went last year, I think. Trying to go this year and then continuing to build off of that are things that we need to continue to do. It's going to be really tough with the new era of college football. I've said it from the beginning. I know there's a lot of stuff in court that is currently trying to be passed, and there's a lot of different things that, with where it is right now, that things could be changed.
Hmm.
But the way that it stands right now, it's going to be tough, and that's why you need a guy as your head coach who's going to be able to sustain those players, keep them, and build a culture.
Let's talk about Blake for a second. I mean, he's won 3 conference championships as a head coach. 2 at Arkansas State. He won 1 at Utah State. He took a team that didn't win anything at Utah and turned them into like 11-win team, I think, that very first year.
Mhm.
So, I mean, how much should Southern Miss fans just believe in kind of his knack for winning conference titles? Like, how does that translate into our situation? Is it possible? That's a fair question. I think these days, Charlie, is like, I got here in the mid to late '90s and followed it before then, from afar, and just kind of got ate up with it at the end of that Bauer era, and then on into Fedora and everything since then. But can we do it anymore? I mean, is it possible for that to happen. And since Blake's already done it a few times, does he have a leg up?
I mean, I think as long as you are playing football games, anything is possible at the end of the day. I know baseball, there's a lot of things that can go your way, and there's ways that you can get around that. But I think for football, it's just one of those things where you got to look at his pedigree and his resume. He's done it before. He's been in these moments. And it's not like he's just done it in other conferences. He's done it in the Sun Belt. And I know that he did that pre NIL and pre all of that stuff that has happened. But I truly believe at the end of the day, coaching players is what's most important for a roster. And I feel like he brings that to the table.
What's he need to do year one for you to say we're headed in the right direction?
It's tough to say with the worst roster turnover in the entire country. I'll tell you that. But my expectation since the roster has been constructed is I think 5-7. I think that's a reasonable number that I think. I mean, obviously you can go a little bit higher, you can go a little bit lower. But the reason I don't go one more for bowl eligibility is because I think it's really tough. I think it's really tough, especially from all the players they've lost. I think it's possible. I think that if he brings us to a bowl game year one, that it would catch a lot of eyes, especially in the Southern Miss community, because you would say, okay, we're starting to build off of something. We're starting to build off of what Coach Huff brought to the table last year. But I think the main thing that you're looking for year one is that, okay, we're in a situation where we don't have a lot of players from last year, and the guys who came back really need to step up. Can those guys step up, and can we see consistency gaming every single game?
Pilo, I don't know if Charlie can hear you yet.
Probably not.
Can you hear that, Charlie?
Nope.
No, still can't. Okay.
Oh, this is really fun.
Hey, it's better than going live after the first game, you know.
This is true.
But no, we're gonna get through it. It's fine. So, let's talk about these quarterbacks just for a second. Each of those quarterbacks, you mentioned Ethan Hampton, and he probably has the most experience. But like John White came in with all the hype in the world. I think he still leads high school in the state of Mississippi all time. But what does each one of these quarterbacks bring to the table individually? And I mean, does the offense look the same with each of them running it, or is every time somebody gets in practice, you're like, "Ooh, we got to run these kind of plays," or does it all just flow together, or how does that work?
Well, to start off, I think Blake Anderson has the offense that he wants to run, and that each of these quarterbacks is adapting to that each and every single day. But they're all different in their own ways. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, Ethan Hampton has come from two schools now, Northern Illinois, where he had a pretty solid career. He actually beat number 9, I think it was number 9, Notre Dame on the road while he was at Northern Illinois. Then last year, he was the backup quarterback at Illinois. So he kind of has a little bit of everything to him, and he's bringing a veteran presence to the locker room. Then you talk about Landry Liddy, a little bit of the same thing, but he was in the program last year. So
Looked good last year, right?
Looked very good last year. Very good. This is a guy that Blake Anderson obviously wanted to keep along with the team. A guy that he feels as if can really make an impact and could be the starting quarterback. And then you have John White, like you said, who is a guy who really has all the potential in the world. I mean, he can be the quarterback one day, and he could be a really good quarterback. It's just, has he reached that moment yet, and is he ready for it?
So, if you had to put money on it today, it's Hampton starting week 1?
Yes, I would say it's Ethan Hampton.
Gotcha. And I think everybody would kind of go along with that. But, I don't think that there's that much. I think everybody would also agree that the drop-off isn't drastic. If something happens, God forbid, hope we don't have to play like 11 quarterbacks again, like we did a few years ago. But, I think we're okay in that regard. Talk about these the surprise from this week with the 2022 class or whatever it was. We basically Southern Miss got 2 offensive linemen right here, like 2 weeks before the season starts. You're like, hey, you've got 2 guys who played a lot last year who are now eligible again. So, talk about your what you know about that situation. I guess legislatively or however that goes, and how important are those 2 guys to this team?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start off with the full backstory. Obviously, There was 3 guys who returned, 2 guards, Maui and Noonery Jr., along with the defensive end, Lewis. They're all coming back following the NCAA eligibility ruling. So they basically ruled that all class of 2022 athletes can have an extra year of eligibility. So as far as I was told, whenever that became an option, Blake Anderson went down the list of all the guys that are eligible. And these were the 3 guys that he really wanted to come back, and he made it work. And after doing some more research about it, I've learned that all 3 of these guys came in fully conditioned, and they've been able to been plugged. I know Maui has been a guy that it's taken a little bit longer just because he had to come from Hawaii, I think it was. Mm-hmm. But all of these guys, I mean, have experience on this team. They all played last year, especially Maui. I mean, he was a starter last year. So bringing in each of these guys, and, you know, I loved what Blake Anderson said in his press conference was that, you know, you're bringing in these guys and the expectation is nothing. They could come in and just do nothing, and it's like you have the exact same roster. The only thing that it does is it's an addition to the team. So if Maui, Noonery, and Lewis all come back in the exact same spot that they were last year, or even a little bit slightly worse, your roster instantly improves.
Very good news. Of course, you know, and we haven't even talked about defense yet, but if you're joining us right now, we are live on To the Top Talk. Pilo is having a little issues with his audio. Charlie can't hear him. Charlie's here. He is on campus right now over at the Sigma Chi House, right?
Yep.
And he has been nice enough to join us. He's also working with Sports Illustrated on the side, covering Southern Miss athletics, kind of on loan to us tonight from Dalton Trigg over at Sports Illustrated. So Pilo, until you get all that figured out, I guess Charlie and I are just going to keep having a conversation.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. You know, I'm just here for the hangout, I guess. I have no idea. I mean, it seems like everybody else can hear me, but it kind of makes it hard to ask questions. So
I could be like an interpreter, like, or whatever, you know, doing that.
Yeah, just hanging out.
So defensively, I mean, with all the defense is even starting more from scratch, is it? I mean, I know that the turnover is huge, but I guess with an offensive-minded head coach now, and you know, some of the quarterback room coming back, some of the running back room coming back. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like maybe the defense is more new than the offense. Is that fair?
No, it's 100% correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what about the defense? You know, what are they looking like? What position group is the strongest? Like when we come out, you're like, all right, well, you're not going to be able to throw it in our secondary, or the linebackers are awesome, or we're good up front. Which one of those areas is the best?
Well, first of all, this is first-year defense coordinator Joe Bolden. And by talking to people within the program, the players absolutely love him. He was a linebacker at Michigan, and from the scrimmage, from the practices, it looks like that he has an identity for that team, and it's been an identity that was established very quickly. One of the position groups I heard that has been absolutely excelling early on throughout fall camp in the first scrimmage is the linebacker room. Obviously, Mathis, Haygood, he was one of the, what is it called? The Sunbelt Media Day guys. He has been performing at a high level, and it's a very in-depth room so far throughout the roster.
Pilo, you want to get us caught up on a few comments? Saw some rolling in. I'm not sure if you've thrown them all up yet.
Yeah, here we go. Man. Let's see. KC Cochran, let's have a night, boys. Tyler Lassiter, Southern Miss linebacker. Remember the name? Absolute dog.
Okay.
We'll have to do that. Mark said quarterback room thinks all they can play this level and want to be in Hattiesburg. That's good. Reed Green, yeah. I mean,
kind of. There's some dirt. We have a black ceiling.
Black ceiling.
I do.
Some paint. That's about all we know. It was the best unit on the team, KC.
So would you go along with that, Charlie?
I have
Defense
actually
outplaying the offense at the moment.
heard that the defense has been balling out a lot throughout fall camp. I think it was KC who was the one who brought up the linebacker Tyler Lassiter. If I butcher
Mhm.
that name, I'm sorry, but I have heard that he has absolutely performed at an extremely high level. He is somebody that has stepped up and could start day one.
Nice.
Well, I mean, Southern Miss history of linebackers, whooping ass. So let's hope that we can get back to that after losing a fantastic linebacker last year.
Yeah.
Hey, who is the defense? He mentioned Lassiter there, but who's another defensive player that you could see becoming kind of the face of the defense or household name by year's end?
I know we've already talked about him, but I am extremely interested to see what we get out of Jameer Lewis, the defensive
Hmm.
end who just came back with the ruling. Um, like I said, there, according to Blake Anderson, there's no expectations for these guys. These are just guys who are just coming in and seeing what happens. But based on last year and him being on the roster, it's hard to say that he's just going to do nothing. I truly do believe that with the right conditioning, with him getting back in shape and him implementing into that defense, they are going to find a way to use him.
Very good. Charlie Lanehart from Sports Illustrated joining us tonight on To the Top Talk. Kyle Cephalo, what do you know about him? I know he's the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. It's. I don't think that head coaches can ever just give it up. Like Blake Anderson's an offensive coordinator. It's what he does. Coach Oz is a pitching coach. I know we have another one of those now, but I'm sure he still has his thumbprint all over that. So, what does Cephalo bring to the table? Do you expect to be any wrinkles? Is it going to look like the same old Blake Anderson offense, which is not bad? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, should we expect anything different? Is it going to be transformative? Are we going to show up and go like, "Damn," or are we going to show up and be like, "Okay, I get it"? Or any of that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that you mentioned the Coach Ostrander and how he got another pitching coach because I think it's a very similar situation. Coach Ostrander obviously last year hired a quote unquote pitch coach. I don't know what the official title is, Gunnar Leger. And from what I was told, yes, Coach Ostrander was the official pitching coach for the baseball team last year. But Gunnar Leger kind of came in with a philosophy that kind of balanced out Ostrander and the things that Ostrander maybe could not have handled as a head coach. Leger would back that up with. And I think we could see a similar approach with Cephalo in the sense that it is a Blake Anderson run offense, but Cephalo can find ways to run the offense efficiently.
Remind everybody that if you have tried to call in so far, we're really wanting to test this out tonight. But you can go to callme.rode.com and put in that code right at the top, HMJCSJ. And we don't know how it's going to work yet. So somebody needs to be the guinea pig. We need somebody to pick up the I guess your phone or
Yeah,
whatever.
and once you do that, it's going to prompt you to just put in your name, and then it will ring here on the board. So,
yeah, we'd like to give that a shot tonight, and we're getting some fantastic info out of Charlie. Anyways, but if we could figure out what the hell we're doing in that regard, that would be nice. You've mentioned a few things about the schedule, a couple of games that jump out to you, and we saw some comments roll in about the Tulane and the Yukon games, which are cool. But when you look at the schedule, what game maybe other than those, like maybe on the conference slate, jumps out to you, and which one's the most important? I mean, is it just the next one? We don't really know what we have, so is it just kind of let's just get the game one, figure out what we think it's going to look like at the end of the year, and then just go game by game, or like what does the schedule look like to you?
At the end of the day, yes. You take it one game at a time, and you truly have to attack each week for its own specific reason. Obviously, you mentioned UConn at home in the out of conference schedule, along with at Tulane and Will Hall, all of that. But I am very intrigued for Thursday night against James Madison during the Sun Belt schedule. Obviously, James Madison's going to bring a lot to the table with Billy Napier coming back into the Sun Belt. And I think that will be a point in the middle of the season in which we will truly figure out what type of team we are.
What about the West? Team to beat?
I think you have to say it's Troy right now. They're returning a lot of production. They brought in a lot of great players, and I think that out of everyone in the Sun Belt, I mean, you could obviously say James Madison and Troy are two favorites in both divisions, but I think Troy's going to be one of those teams that's going to be very tough to beat this year.
Freaking Troy. Those shiny helmets.
I know.
You know, I thought when we got rid of Western Kentucky, we were going to get away from shiny helmet land. But here we are.
Nope.
Yeah, it's no good. What irritates you more, the blue field at Boise or the shiny helmets? I'm going shiny helmet.
I love the blue field at Boise.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm not a big fan of the shiny helmet either.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No. Well, does Southern, in your opinion, does Southern Miss have enough talent? And if things come together, can you see a possibility competing for the West?
It's so tough because, I mean,
The
like
ball
we
has to
talked
bounce
about,
a certain way, and there's so many different
Yes.
players and all of that. But I do think that when you're on the ground and you can kind of get a sense of, you know, if the players are believing or if they're just like, you know, I'm just here to, I don't know, to get my degree or to get a shot at a P4 or anything like that. Or sometimes you get the sense of these guys like being out here and they like playing. And I think we're going to, you know, we got a shot. So have you gotten any of those feelings?
I mean, I think the best way to put it is as long as you are playing football games, anything is possible at the end of the day. And from a talent standpoint, I do think that they have the talent and resources to make it happen or go for a run at it. It's just a matter of can they blend this early in Blake Anderson's tenure.
So the preseason Sunbelt coaches poll has Southern Miss 5th in the West. Is that fair, too high, or too low?
I think it's extremely fair. I mean, I think there is no expectation for Southern Miss football this year. We have no idea what to expect. Obviously, we can go to scrimmages, we can go to practice, and we see certain things. But at the end of the day, none of it matters until you officially kick off the football against Alcorn State at home. So I truly believe that the out-of-conference schedule by Tulane, after the Tulane game, whenever we're sitting down and we're thinking about where's this football team, we'll have a much better answer for that. But I think we're at a point in the fall and we're at a point in this whole entire thing with modern day college football that we have no idea what to expect from this team. I mean, obviously, we've talked about the quarterbacks, we've talked about the offensive line, the defensive line, the linebackers, but there comes a point in which you actually have to play meaningful football.
Well, it's almost here, right? We're counting down the days. It's God, it's hot outside. I feel so bad for those guys. You know, having to put on these pads. I've seen my 9-year-old doing it right now. He's throwing on the helmet and the pads, and they're going out there for 2 hours. And I'm going, I don't even want to sit in the parking lot in my truck in the AC. Is how hot it is out there. But maybe that gives us an edge moving towards the end with all these teams and indoor practice facilities and all that. You know, maybe they get outside and they really can't handle it, right?
I can't do it, yeah.
Maybe that's what we got going for us. Pilo, has anybody tried to call in?
Not
Or
yet.
do you not know? Okay.
I mean, no. I mean, I haven't had a call yet. Still going to
Okay.
keep
Yeah, and I know
scrolling
it's a
that
weird
at the
thing,
top.
and we're gonna have to get used to that. But yeah, if you just type it into your phone, callme.road.com, even if it's just a hey, great show, you know, just trying to see if this thing works. We
Congrats
really
on
like
winning Best of the PineBelt. You know,
yeah,
get your
you
voice on the
suck.
show.
Any of that, we'll take any.
Yeah.
We just wanted to see if this thing does in fact work. We got to try it out at some point. So we're getting towards the end of Charlie here. Pilo, I don't know if you have anything else for Charlie, but I don't think he can hear you. So I guess at this point we're going to go to the quick hitters segment. Charlie, you might remember this one from last time. It's just a game show type of ending that we do to all of our interviews. Some of the questions are going to be goofy. Some of them are going to be, Well, probably all of them are going to be goofy. Just deal with it. You can answer it in one word. You can answer it in a sentence. Whatever you want to do. Pilo is going to hit the music at any time now. There it is. And I will start it off and probably just keep going. Since Pilo can't hear you. So we've talked about this a little bit so far, but the floor for this team this year is... Pilo, you might need to turn that down just a hair. There we go. As far as a win total goes, the floor for this team is?
I'd say 4-8.
Okay. And the ceiling?
8-4.
Ooh, if he goes 8-4, dude.
You said the ceiling. What's the absolute best thing he can do?
Yeah. I think if anybody doesn't like 8-4,
that's the absolute best thing.
Yeah, that would be just. I mean, build the freaking statue, in my opinion, if we can do that.
But I think, like I said, I've talked about it in the past, and I think 5 and 7, or anything a little bit below, anything a little bit above is reasonable.
In that 4 to 6 range, I'm with you.
Yes.
One opponent you want to beat this season?
Tulane, period.
I think there's only one answer to that. There's only one answer to that. If you just said anything else, we'd have had somewhere. Maybe somebody would have called in and be like, you dumbass. Best game day tradition on campus is?
Eagle Walk.
I agree. Pilo, what do you think about that? Eagle Walk, way to go.
The best game day tradition. Yeah.
It's tough to beat. It's pretty fancy. It's big time. Favorite lunch spot in Hattiesburg?
I'm a big Art of Roo fan.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him go.
Yeah.
Wow. Right, but he's right. It's really good. They got whatever that sauce that Pilo always talks about. What is it, Pilo? The barbecue? I mean, the buffalo?
The buffalo, buffalo tiger sauce.
They do it right over there.
Yeah. Good dude, too. What's the coolest part, I guess, about being a student on campus? Because you got some people that are not on campus, and they just kind of come and go. But I've always told people, I don't think you really did it right unless you're on campus. So, in your opinion, what's the best part about being on campus?
1,000% being so connected to the university. I've said it to every single person that has considered coming to Southern Miss that we have a fantastic president in Dr. Joe Paul. And for him, he's somebody who doesn't just sit in his office. He's always walking around campus trying to create interaction. And it's not one of those things where he sees you and the next time he sees you, he may not remember his name. Like, he will call you by your first and last name.
Yeah, for sure. Fantasy football, yay or nay?
Yay. I'm in 4 leagues.
Okay. And I was going to ask you, is it just like Charlie Lanehart? Is it Coach Charlie? What's your team name? Can you say your team name?
I've only done 1 league so far, and I haven't made my name yet, but I typically do a funny name based on my top player I have.
Yeah. Very good.
The Hattiesburg Hamburgers.
Pilo said that his is the Hattiesburg Hamburgers.
There you go.
Very good.
There you go.
Thank you, Pilo.
So also, I'm gonna jump in. We did see a comment on there that said that they tried to call in. I just swapped that code. So let me.
Okay, so the code has changed.
Yeah, try that and see.
So everybody wants to try this new code right now. The code has changed. 9C6WJV.
Yep.
JV. It's as high as the Pilo made in the high school basketball team.
This is true. This is true. Hey, I was this tall in 8th grade.
A few more, Charlie, and we'll get you out of here, and we'll put a bow on this somehow. Early classes or afternoon classes?
I don't know if there's a third option, but middle.
See, I was an early guy. You know why? 0 parking issues. Everybody's like, well, you can't find them. I was like, well, do you have a class at 11? Everybody wants a class at 11. That's the problem. Okay, let's say you're the quarterback. Is there anybody on the team that you are looking for on the regular to chunk it to?
Two guys, Jalen Hines. He's a transfer from Wingate. He's absolutely come onto the scene as of late. And wide receiver Davis Dalton. He seems to be the red zone and big deep ball threat.
He's got a shot, man. He looks the part, and he's one of those dudes that you could, if he puts it together, you could watch him on TV for a while, I think. Okay, last one. Probably did it for you last time, but same deal. You can only have 3 apps on your phone. They have to be downloaded apps, so it can't be like text messages and stuff. What 3 apps are you keeping?
I would keep Twitter for all my sports stuff, Instagram to stay in touch with all my people, and YouTube to watch good videos.
There it is. Fantastic. Remember, everybody, you can follow Charlie I guess on all the stuff at Lane Hart Charlie. Is that good for Instagram and Twitter and all that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, dude, thanks for joining us today. On your way out the door, is there anything else that you have for the Southern Miss faithful out there?
No, I think it's a very optimistic time for Southern Miss athletics. Little quick shout out. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to it, but ladies soccer officially kicked off this Thursday, and Danny Owens got his first win against Alabama State. So that's always good. And I just think that this is a part in Southern Miss athletics where it's a pivotal time to make the right hires, make the right decisions. I think up to this point, they've done just that.
Fantastic. Man, dude, you're the best. Thanks so much. Pilo and I hadn't kept up at all with football, and you just crushed it. You did it all. Thanks for hopping on. Really enjoy your articles as well over at Sports Illustrated. How can people go to that? Is it sports?
Yeah.
Is it Southern Miss SI.com? What's the address there?
Yeah, so it's Southern Miss Golden Eagles on Sports Illustrated. You can find all of our articles on the Twitter account for that and for mine. But also you can just go to sportsillustrated.com and then probably put like a slash and then Southern Miss Golden Eagles on Sports Illustrated.
Fantastic. Well, buddy, thank you so much. And on your way out the door, Southern Miss
to the top.
Thanks. All right, you can shut her down. Pilo and I will finish it up. And I think he's going to shut it down. There he goes. Okay. We're piecing it together, Pilo.
Ooh, man, it has been something. So I actually, we're gonna get this thing figured out.
Yeah. Well, so hopefully people have been able to hear you the entire time.
Every time I think so.
Okay. I think so too. I believe that comment came through earlier. If anybody wants to try that number, we're about to end this thing. I do want to thank Charlie once again for coming on and just kind of bringing it. He had, Pilo, there was a time where you and I were that connected, I think. But, now it's, you have kids and all of that life.
Yeah.
And you just don't have that much time. But he just killed it, man. That's a guy, eventually, Pilo, when we die, he can take over the podcast. He'd be first in line. Kind of like Baker's first in line for whenever Coxie finally just says, I'm out,
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Host and waiting.
By then, a podcast will be like a VHS tape or something. He'll be like, hey, thanks, but, we got this other thing. We would like to thank our title sponsor once again and remind you that Yingling Flight is available in 12-ounce slim cans and screw top 16-ounce pints at most retailers. Pick yourself up some Yingling Flight today and drink it. It's good. It's yummy. Tastes like beer. Last chance to get in and try to visit us at callme.road.com and enter 9C6WJV and just tell us if that thing works or not. I don't know if it will. It may or may not. Pilo, maybe you've at least learned something tonight, and it'll be a little bit more smooth the next time that we go.
Maybe we'll get it figured out by football season. Here we go.
Yeah, well, I know that you've been dealing with that all night. It's just stressful. But the show went good. I don't know if you paid attention or not. It was good. It was awesome.
Yeah, I was glad to be on the outside looking in.
Southern Miss does have one more baseball camp coming up. It's a father-son camp, August 29th, K through the 8th grade. It's awesome. I've done it a few times, and it's my favorite camp that I've ever done. It's so cool. I don't know if I can do this one because we will be coming back into town from. We're taking my son. I can't tell anybody because he might be listening. He knows that we're going somewhere. He didn't know where. We'll be coming back
Yeah.
into town on that day. So
Yeah.
whether we make it to the camper, I'm not positive, but it's super fun. It might be sold out already. I'm not sure, but it's a super fun camp if you're into that sort of thing, and if you have a son, it's great. And that's it. Do you want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, let's do that. I prepared a few.
Oh, the shout out segment is brought to you by Art of Rue. Art of Rue is a locally owned and operated restaurant in Hattiesburg serving po' boys, gumbo, red beans, seafood plates, and more. Located at 208 North 38th Avenue and can be found on the web at art-of-rue.com. Art of Rue, Cajun comfort food.
Yeah, pretty solid. Yeah, here we go. I'll kick it off. I wanted to give a shout out to my cousin Jacob. He invited me to play up in a golf tournament this past week up at Lake Caroline, up in Madison. Had a good buddy of his that was in our foursome, Dylan Cross. He listened to the show and has listened to the show a little bit. And so I wanted to give him a shout out for listening to the show. And so appreciate you, Dylan. Quite a good golfer. And then speaking of golf, a couple of buddies of mine that have joined me over at the Back Nine, I want to give them a shout out as well. Forrest Dungan, Ron Havard, Ross Banks, and Ethan Lee, Thomas Gray. Appreciate all you guys. We have had a lot of fun, and we'll continue that in the days ahead because air conditioning golf is the GOAT.
Yeah, super nice in there too. It's cool. It's a great addition to Hattiesburg.
It is.
It's awesome. I'll give a couple. The O'Briens are in town for the weekend.
Nice.
The DOB is not. He's obviously up at Boston College doing his football thing. Good luck to the Boston College Eagles this season as well. So no matter who I'm pulling for, it's like go Eagles, right?
That's right.
Can't go wrong with that.
Up there on the hill now.
But yeah, they're in town. They're leaving tomorrow, I think, and headed back because they don't start school yet. After Labor Day is when they start school in Boston. Must be nice. I tried to tell them, I was like, y'all came back the hottest time it could possibly be.
Yes. They're going to turn
She
around
was
and
like, I
go
know we
back.
used to live here, but oh my God, I forgot. I said, well, this is like the worst part, you know. And the last shout out, I've already done it, but Dalton Trigg over at SI just kind of got Charlie out on loan tonight, and we appreciate that. That's it, dude. That was it. Is there any comments that have come in? towards the
Yeah,
end
I
of
just
this?
wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Lefty K32. Said he tried on multiple things and didn't get it to work. I will troubleshoot and I will give Rode a
It's weird
phone
because we tried it
call.
out the other day. It
We
worked
did,
okay.
yeah, but we weren't live. I don't know, but like that would defeat the whole purpose if you couldn't do it live because I've heard that's a possibility, which is why we went this direction. So we'll get it worked out, and yeah, appreciate you guys for helping us out.
Okay. Very good.
Appreciate everybody that voted for us to win
Yeah.
Best of the PineBelt. Appreciate it. I had multiple people that told us like, yeah, I voted every day. I was like, that's
great.
fantastic. So
yeah. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this thing. This episode was brought to you by the premium light beer Yingling Flight, established in 2020 by the oldest brewery in America. Crisp, clean, refreshing taste, 95 calories, only 2.6 grams of carbs. Pick yourself up some Yingling Flight today. That's it. Thanks for listening. Whatever day you might have listened, whichever platform you chose to listen in on. Maybe next time you'll be able to call in. Remember, you can follow me at Bumper J Bailey and Patrick at P Lowry. Follow us on all the social at To The Top Talk. And don't forget about the mailbag, to the top talk at gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss
to the top.
talk.
A little early.
Premature songulation there.
Save the Goondocks. Go see the Good Lucky Rabbit. Go check out the Goonies.
Ooh, I got a t-shirt. It was fun.
Oh, that's it. Oh. This one?
No. I
First
love
you gotta
it.
do the truffle shuffle. Oh, it's so great. See you guys.
$50 bill.
$50 bill.